thank you for the folks who came out tonight and anybody joining us online. With that, I'll move to item 4, citizens' comments. Any comments? Okay, hearing none, close citizens' comments. Move on to item 5, approval of the minutes for June 16th, 2024 P&Z meeting. Ask for a motion.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, I have no discussion. I'll call for the vote. All in favor of approval of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Show that unanimous. Now we're going to move on to item 6. For item 6.1, presentation, welcome Mr. The Webbs here to present and discuss Legacy Park Estates concept plan that's presented by Oak National Development, LLC. So with that, I'll turn it over to y'all. Thank you for joining us. I'll remind you, we're not taking action on this. But if you want to ask any questions at the end of the presentation,
okay.
Do that, okay?
So I'm Kevin Webb. I have lived here in McLendon-Chisholm for a little over 20 years. We have our company based here in McLendon-Chisholm. We've built quite a few of the homes for people here and done several of the developments. We have this as our hometown, and through that we've actually set up a 380 agreement with the city where we're bringing in our sales tax from all of our materials for all the areas that we build in. Instead of having them go to each individual city, they all come here to McLendon-Chisholm because, again, it's our hometown and we want to make it a special place. With this development that we have, again, we've wanted it to be something special and kind of set itself apart from everything else. And so we've gone through, I can't tell you how many different versions, but we've done quite a few different things going back and forth with people. So this version we've got here is something that was kind of suggested to us from different comments, different things that we've had with conversations through meetings with staff and council, pulling information from the comp plan, trying to provide trails and open space. I don't know if y'all have the copies there in front of you or, okay. But basically we're looking to provide minimum half-acre lots. Lots do go up to acre lots. We're styling this after kind of the Stoneleigh neighborhood there, just up 550. And trying to provide some different amenities for the people. And we're also looking to have land added to the Heritage Center and bring the detention pond that's currently on the city property onto our property over there to, again, provide more land for the city to be able to use within their Heritage Center and give some aspect as far as that. One of the aspects we have over in the kind of southwest corner of the city property there, we have a trail coming up to it. One of the comments was wanting to have a event center within the Heritage Center, and they really wanted to have access to a pond. So we've got a nice open trail and space to be able to connect that and have all that to where the city can have a pond for people to go to and have it there connected with the event center. And that was just one of the comments that had come up. This development is within High Point water, so there's not a drop that would be coming out of RCH. So any of the issues that we all are dealing with, or at least I'm dealing with, I don't know exactly where y'all are at, most of the people in McLendon-Chisholm are dealing with, does not apply to this, that High Point has plenty of water for it. With these, we are also looking to do city sewer, which will bring substantial revenue to the city to help pay for the Heritage Center and get aspects in that part. Do you have any questions on the layout or any other questions for me on anything?
Any questions? No? Any questions? No? Not yet? Well, maybe one will come up here.
Okay.
Tom, anything? Mr. Riss? Do you have any questions? Any questions? No. Okay. All right. I just had a couple, and I thank you all
Sure.
for coming out tonight. Is this, so you're intending for this to have an HOA, I assume?
Yes.
Okay. And the common area, or the green space, I guess I'll describe it that way. Your intention is that going to fall within the HOA, or was that be dedicated to the city?
So the area in the bottom right, that kind of long, thin pond area would be HOA.
Okay.
And the city has expressed interest wanting the rest of it as far as the rest of the green space.
Oh, okay, so the
rest of it would be dedicated to the city.
The two ponds.
The two ponds, the
and-
space
yeah.
around that, and the trail going all the way through.
Okay, and then the other is the green space that is annotated on the diagram that runs along, I assume that's 550,
So
550, is that, are you going to put green space on the
there
front
will
of
be
that?
green space there that we'll put a berm across and landscape that to help kind of make it more of a natural look rather than having houses that back right up to the 550.
And I know the lot sizes vary. Can you just describe what your general lot size, or what the lot size structure is going to be?
So I've got a minimum of a half acre. Again, they go up to just over an acre, and there's, 2/3 of an acre, 3/4 of an acre. There's all different sizes as far as that. We've tried to put larger lots up towards the front. We tried to put larger lots around the green spaces as far as that, in some of the more visible areas in that sense.
Okay, and the frontages on the lots?
The frontages are set up as a 100-foot minimum.
Okay. All right, and talk to me a little bit about the trails. I mean, how's that going to work?
So,
I mean, in terms of, okay, so is that trails be city responsibility or the HOA? And then how do the trails then connect?
So the trails we would put in as far as that part, so they would be established by us as far as the development. That land is being dedicated to the city, so at that point it would be within the city as far as that part, based off of what they've asked for.
Okay.
So.
Okay. I mean, you guys do a superior product. It's not the construction of the homes isn't the
Appreciate
question.
that.
It's always been a question often on lot sizes, and you guys are here, you know the sensitivities.
Well, and one of the things that we're looking at, one of the things that's been expressed is you have a lot of people who will buy an acre lot. You have the septic heads that are there in the back. If you look at like an aerial photo, a lot of times you've got your fenced in about 30 foot back, and then the rest of it is kind of brown, not used, weeds or whatever else. And again, some people will fence it, some people won't fence anything. It varies just kind of depending, but there's a good number of people that they want a big, nice house, they want a larger than city lot, but yet they don't want to mow a full acre or more. They don't want to have the septic head areas that we're doing away with. And have that aspect, so.
Yeah, so all the lots will be on
All the lots would be
sewer,
on
all of
sewer.
them,
And we
regardless
would
of
also
size.
be providing sewer to City Hall, so that the septic tanks that we have here, we could also reclaim that land.
All right. Well, anytime you do away with a septic system, I'm happy about that because they're all little Superfund sites just waiting to happen.
Don't forget your chlorine.
Yeah, well, I have a septic system. I live in a home you guys built over in Chisholm Crossing. We love it. We also have a little over 2 acres, and what you just described is exactly as I'm getting a little older and further along. I understand the challenges, especially with growth of trees, and this last storm, I'm still cleaning up trees. The ponds, let's talk a little bit about the ponds, because I have a deletion pond that's in back of my home. that
You have
put
a what,
in
what kind of pond?
A deletion. It's a retention pond, I
Oh,
guess.
okay.
It's not designed, it was put in, it was, the history of that Chisholm Crossing, you came in after the
The initial development.
after
Yeah.
the earthwork was done, right, and the plating took place. And so in our hot summers, are those ponds, are you going to make them deep enough that they don't dry out?
So what we're looking to do on these is both have detention, retention. And so your detention are your typical ones that are dried most of the time and have, when it rains, it fills up and then slowly releases.
Yep.
Detention, retention will have room for that water to help prevent it from having excess flow coming off, but it will also have water down below that it retains in there, so you have the actual amenity of a pond. My son loves to fish, so it's one of those type of things to be able to go out there and go fish. As far as the pond is a feature that we like to have in anything we can do.
No, I agree. I think I know mine is dries out in the summer, and I wish it would retain water the whole year round. I feel every time every spring we'll have standard rains, right, and everything will fill up, and there'll be several turtles that make their way into that area, and then somewhere around the middle of July, I feel bad because they got to go obviously find somewhere else to go live.
Yes. Detention. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if that's, yeah. All right, good. And I know you've done a couple of reviews with city staff, and I think with some city leadership. So we appreciate that. So now, any other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
The revised plan, I'm personally glad to see the abandonment of any athletic fields and any of that type of stuff, so thank you.
Okay.
Did you say y'all had laid this out to resemble a development area over in Stoneley? Is it
So
one that y'all
that was
did?
one of the things that was mentioned in some of the comments, and so we've kind of tried to take that concept and put it into the design as far as that. They've got varying lot sizes from about the same size lots as far as everything, and we're just trying to kind of provide what we see as a nice development over there and provide that around this area as a special thing.
Is there any specific region there that y'all were trying to duplicate, or just in general?
Just in general,
Gotcha.
just trying again to take comments that were mentioned
Sure.
and try to apply it to find something that works.
Gotcha. Thank you, Kevin.
Yes, sir.
Is all of this within the city of McLendon-Chisholm? Well,
It's right here, it's right here.
are we even considering something that violates our city's plans of 1 acre? Why is it even on paper for us to talk about?
So without going into, so the question Mr. Ritz asks is why, and I think the reason is everybody has the right to petition their government. So they have an inherent right to come in and petition. City staff, we look to city staff to work the details. This is not being formally presented to us for decision. So the sequence will be, it's a PD now, so it'll be a rezoning consideration. So we'll go through a public hearing, which will then take action on a public hearing because it's based on the PD, and everybody will get their opportunity at that point to weigh the considerations, make their judgments. But I mean, I certainly would never. We can, and I will just remind the public, within the comprehensive plan, the area we're speaking about specifically had flexibility built into it. Now, I mean, it's like any equation, it's how much flexibility. So I think we'll go to the public hearing, see what folks have to say. I mean, I appreciate you guys are moving forward, trying to move forward in a thoughtful manner with this land. We'll see what the public has to say, and then we'll do what we want.
Yeah. Just one more question. Have you determined a minimum square footage?
I believe what we had turned in was 2,000 square foot as a minimum square footage.
Okay.
For living area, that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's one we would.
I was
personally
just curious.
I'd like to see something a little higher, but based on the size of the lots.
And typically, what we'll do as far as that part is we like to, again, from a business standpoint, we make a set margin as far as each house. So our smallest house has the same margin percentage as our largest house. But the number of dollars that we make off of the larger homes is obviously a lot more. So we want to sell as big and nice of a house as we can from a business standpoint. So just because we have a minimum doesn't necessarily mean that that's what we would try to go in and push as far as that point. We would start higher than that, and what we've got to do is we've got to respond to what the market demand is. And so we've got to have a little bit of flexibility in that sense,
Yeah.
and that's why we're looking for the 2,000 as a minimum.
I think it would be useful when you explain that prior to the public hearing. You'll be given your opportunity to do the presentation, is to explain the market factors you're dealing with. I think that's, most folks don't necessarily understand that, and they think in context of the square footage of the house and how, what that equates to. 2,000 out here, 2,000, as you know, is fairly small. That's a small footprint. I think probably most of the homes we live in are somewhere at least 3,000. But you're just under 3,000, right?
Yeah, mine's 25.
25, okay.
And you guys, I just want to echo with Mark that I would like you to consider the 2,500 as your smallest house, more so than 2,000. I live in an Altura as well out in Chisholm Crossing, and ours is 25. And
Okay.
for us, it's good house.
Yeah.
So I would encourage the 25 at least.
One of the things with this aspect is, like I mentioned before, as far as a lot of people don't necessarily want to maintain a large lot. That's typically your empty nesters that tend to start to get to that point. The other thing, empty nesters, we'd built in Heath Golf and Yacht, and we were on, I don't know if they were 45-foot lots or 50-foot lots, but they were some of our more expensive houses. And again, you have the empty nesters that want a really nice house, but they don't need 4 bedrooms. They don't need all of those type of things to go clean and do everything as far as that part. And so again, the price points, I mean, again, we got to watch that, because obviously if you have a expensive home, you don't want a real cheap home that would bring down property values. So we're very much into the position of wanting to have the bigger, nicer aspect, but we've just got to have the flexibility to serve what the market demand is looking for.
Yeah.
And so those empty nesters that do want a smaller, nicer home, that would be looking at a 2,200 square foot house or something along those sizes, where you might have 3 bedrooms, but a nice big living room, nice big kitchen area. Those are the type of aspects that I see some of the buyers in here looking for.
Okay. Makes sense. All right, sir. Any other questions? Well, thank you.
All right,
Appreciate
appreciate
the
it.
time.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming out. Okay, and with that, we'll move on to item 6.2, consideration and action regarding the approval of a final plat for the separation into 3 lots and the development of a single-family residential lot on 9.78 acres of land located on Dow Road, with frontages on Dow Road located at 2639 Dow. That's CAD. The CAD ID is 32525. That, I'm going to turn it over to Asa for your staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. So the request is the approval of the final plat for the Bear Point subdivision of 9.78 acres, a 9.78 tract of land located on Dowell Road, north of the intersection of FM 550, and this is within the city's ETJ area. And so it's being divided into 3 separate lots, and so you do have the plat, and if you look on lot 2, that is where the single-family home is to be constructed. I've spoken with the applicants, and they would like to get this approved, but they are not planning on building their home until 2025.
This is
And
not zoned. It's not a zone. It's in the ETJ, so it's not a zoning case. It's just a plat.
yes, sir.
And with that, any other factors you want to add?
The staff is recommending approval.
Yeah, okay. All right. So I'll start with Mr. Rhodey. Any questions, sir? No. Mr. Freeze, none? Sir? None? Tom, any questions?
According to this, it says it's being given to the Jose Alvarado and Lydia Alvarado do hereby adopt this plot resignation. The herein above described property as Bear Point Addition, and addition to the city of McLendon-Chisholm, taxes and dedicates to the public use forever. The streets, roads, and assessments shown herein for the use and accommodation of any public utility desiring use or using same for the purpose of constructing, maintaining, add, or removing any or all of the respective systems located therein. That tells me they're giving it to the city. Do you read that differently? You do? Yes, sir. Oh, well, tell me what it is, because I'm very confused.
Sorry. Yeah, I do read it different.
I can see easement they ought to be a little more clear.
Well, it shows the easement. At least it says a 15-foot utility easement as it goes around.
It does specifically refer to streets, roads, and easements shown therein.
And the easement I see is on Dowell Road. It's a 15-foot utility easement. And they are dedicating the use of that easement to the city for the purpose of utilities. Yes, sir. 15 foot.
Just not familiar with how the nomenclature.
Oh, okay.
I'm very literal. What happens when you got a math background?
I'll assume the city attorney has reviewed this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I mean, I note, and so I'll just point, Tom, to item 11 on the notes, is all cul-de-sacs, local streets, and collector streets shall be privately maintained by either the property owner or a homeowner or a property owners association or utility district. So it's that private road. Your question made me think about that private road and how that could come into play later on, but it's quite clear there, at least based on the dedication within the plat. It's that and the road and street shall be maintained by Rockwell County, no road, street, maintained by Rockwell County Express Water Commissioners Court. Yeah, so it's quite clear there, because this is in the ETJ, so that's, there's no intent, there's no intent here to incorporate into the city, as I understand it.
And it also indicates a private road,
Yeah, it's,
which number 11 takes, which includes number 11.
yeah, exactly. So, does that answer your question, Tom?
Yep.
Okay, good. All right, so I think that satisfies any of the questions I have. The only question I had on the plat, Lot 1, so it's not compliant with our subdivision regulations, right? It's 150-foot frontage. And is Lot 1 the intention of the homeowner or the current property owner to build on Lot 1? Is that what you understand?
No, they intend to build on Lot 2.
They intend to build on Lot 2, okay. And then Lot 1, they're going to provide for somebody to acquire?
Which is the way that I understand it.
So that's a 5-acre, 150-foot wide lot. That's a interesting lot design. Okay. But again, it's an ETJ, so, huh?
Is it their land?
It's an ETJ.
Exactly
I
right.
keep saying that, it's an ETJ.
There you go.
All right. Well, with those questions being satisfied, I'll ask for a motion to approve or deny.
Motion to approve the final plat as given.
Okay. Okay. I have a motion and a second. Call for the vote. All in favor? Aye. Tom? Okay, that show that unanimous. That was approved. All right. That's it for those items. Before we adjourn, I just want to give you a little update. So last week, the mayor and I went up to Tyler and met with Brookshires. And we had the very healthy, very informative discussion that allows us to, I think, set a pathway now for moving forward with the development of the Berkshire's property to a store. They haven't decided what store format they're going to use. They have 4 separate formats they can pick from. Time will tell on that. I think if we look to, they're just timing-wise, they're in the process of finalizing their plans for 2025. They run on a fiscal year starting in October, so for the 12 months. So they're finalizing those plans right now. And then somewhere in then May and June of next year in 26, they will start to develop their plans for FY26, right, starting in October 25. And the 2 primary things they're looking at right now to pull the trigger, because they're eager to get started, is rooftops, and that's measured generally within a 10-minute radius from the store, 3 miles. We talked a little bit about that because we're obviously a little unique out here because we're a little further away from everything. And they understand that. But that's that, and in the rooftops, they look at both existing planned or permitted and planned, right? So that's 3 separate factors that go into their thought process. And then the other thing they're looking at, which is not our consideration, but will be for the city, which is any kind of incentives, offsets, et cetera, in terms of the actual construction. But that will be a decision made by the city council. But overall, I came away very, very encouraged that we're going to have the opportunity to finally get a store, moved in here. And I know, talking with a couple of other developers who own land out there have asked me about it, and they're very eager to, once that gets started, that will step forward to the next, to a series of actions. Yeah, the store in Fate is a very profitable, very beneficial city store for both them and also for the city of Fate. Having discussed this with the mayor of Fate and the city manager, the dynamics of what the Fresh has done inside Fate has really changed. And the other thing they want to do is, the mayor's, it's up to the mayor to work this. It's not our purview, but the idea is to work with developers so that you have a common look and feel for each of the properties as they're developed. So I suspect that means we will see again at least one of those past considerations. I'm sure will come back through us. But I'm overall just very encouraged. I just wanted to share that with you. Mayor's on a little vacation while we're on vacation, so you'll be hearing more about it.
Can you repeat the time schedule? Are they looking?
Yeah, the time schedule is.
You said they were working on the style and design. But
Well,
they hope to have that this year.
they have, so the timeline they work on is a fiscal year timeline. It starts in October. So they finalize their construction plans in September for what they're going to do the next fiscal year. And they're in the process of finalizing those, and they basically have 6 stores total system in play. Then 6 construction sites
Oh, simultaneous.
are looking at. Well, they don't build each one simultaneously, but they plan out, and then they'll see how the funding, where their funding sources look, it's all a matter of having money, and what their supply chain can support and everything else. And then So by the spring, May, June, they will start to develop their FY26 store plans. So and it takes 10 months for them to build a store. So ours, lot-wise, it doesn't require a lot of earthwork. It's, I don't want to say it's shovel-ready, but it's pretty close. And so it's favorable right now that it could be involved in a 26 plan somewhere, right? So it could be, we could be talking the summer of 26 for actual construction to start, and then that would mean a store in 27. But point being, they're getting right to the precipice of making, being ready to make a decision. Their thing they're waiting for is still to see the number of rooftops. We had a long discussion about that, about what is planned, what is existing planned and what's permitted. And it's obviously for us, it's not just what's inside the city, it's what's near the city as well. And
Do they have a radius that they need?
yeah, they mentioned they have their general rule of thumb is 10 minutes and 3 miles. But we're in a unique situation out here because we're not. Actually, I had a good laugh about that. Yeah. 3 miles for us is like, and so they understood that, and that's where we led to the discussion of the fate. Told us the story of how fate went. Good. And how that played out. So. I'm sorry.
Any indication of when the odds go for what their anticipation is for?
No, they don't, because they have different, they're not, a lot of it's, they wouldn't tell us the exact science, if you will.
Not knowing their calculus.
Once we started talking about the number of rooftops, they were unaware of some of the near considerations of what would happen. There's some planning that has been discussed, and a lot of it, obviously, the other thing is water. They were very, didn't have the same situational awareness on the water that the mayor was able to bring to them. So we got them a little smarter, or he got them a little smarter on the water situation too, which was favorable. So no promises, but I think it's possible. We could have construction start in 26, which would be a good thing.
Did they mention 205 and how that was impacting their?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, they had the TxDOT dog year, plan. They're obviously watching. They're aware of all the utility work that's being done now as it gets set up. So, they're taking all that into consideration. There are actually 3. We had 3. There is the manager level guy that runs the projects, obviously his boss, and I would say from my contracting days, sort of the chief engineer that was sitting in. So it's a pretty serious discussion. Good. But anyway, I just wanted to let you all know that, let the public know it.
Appreciate that feedback. The exciting part is as soon as locals start to see the dirt moving, it'll instigate.
It's certain. It's certainly. As I know with O'Reilly is starting. They're good, and so that leads to the other discussion we needed to have, which is I'm going to ask for your consideration to hold a special meeting next week so we can. The plat for O'Reilly's was to be finished. It needed some engineering reviews. Those will be completed this week. So you're gone next week. How's your schedule for Wednesday or Thursday? Let's be specific.
And Thursday would be better because Wednesday there is the Home Rule Commission at 6:30.
Okay.
So if you want to do the meeting at 6:30, Thursday would be better.
So Thursday's the plan, okay. You're available, okay?
I'm available Wednesday.
Not Thursday. Okay. Hmm?
29th,
Yeah,
Tuesday, I'm available.
no, Tuesday's city council. So it would have to be the 29th, I think, is what we're hearing. You're here the 29th. Okay, so you're here, so that's 3, you're not. Tom, are you available next Thursday?
What?
Are you available next Thursday if we hold a special meeting?
Thursday. This coming.
The 29th?
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay, all right.
Not the 26th.
All right, so the answer is yes, we'll have a meeting on the 29th, so you'll get the notices out. Okay?
Yes, sir.
It's nice when you're retired, you can do whatever you want.
Well, sorry you can't make it.
No, that's okay, I understand.
We'll get your coupons for the, for your spark plugs.
3-day meetings and
No, fair enough. Okay? All right, and with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right,
Second?
all right, so moved. Have a good evening.